Hello, students, filmmakers. My name is Chris Jarvis. I am a filmmaker living in Detroit, Michigan. I've been in the film and television industry for about 5 years now. I've worked on my own short films, other people's short films, commercials, TV shows. I worked on a show that was on Discovery Channel. Now we're moving over to CBS. I am the director and director of photography for that show. In 2016, I worked on a short film that went to the Sundance Film Festival. I've directed, like I said, commercials, music videos, short films. Did a bunch of PA work before that. So I've worked just about every job on a film set before. So if you're wondering why should we listen to this guy, I guess that's maybe why. So I'm just going to jump right into these questions that you guys had for me. And the first question I have is, how did you get started in the filmmaking industry? The answer to that is I started making short films and videos when I was in high school, like over 10 years ago. And one of the short films I entered into an IFC, the Independent Film Channel. I entered it into an IFC contest, and I ended up winning that contest. So I kind of knew I had an aptness for it. Fast forward 10 years, I was a struggling musician, working dead-end jobs, working, crappy jobs, and I was just asking myself, okay, this has got to end. What am I good at that I could actually make money at? And they say not to do things for money. I know. I obviously have a huge passion for filmmaking, but in this instance, it really was just like, what am I good at that can make me money right now? And so I went back to school. I went to Specs Howard for their digital media production program, and I graduated from that. And then I just started putting myself out there. I already knew a lot about cameras. I knew a lot about editing, and I just started putting myself out there on Facebook, on social media, and just started taking every PA job that came my way, which just slowly would build and build into better and better jobs. Once people see your name out there and see that you're working in video, working in the film industry, once they see that you're doing that, you're going to keep, and if you do a good job, you're going to keep getting more and more work to build upon that foundation. So, how did I get my start? I can't even remember. I just, out of school, I just started making my own videos and putting them online. And, like I said, I just started applying for every crappy PA job I could find. And, one thing led to another, and I was able to kind of work my way up in the industry. Okay, this next question is tips for shooting outside. Shooting outside is my favorite thing to do. It's my favorite. I love shooting outside. I prefer shooting outside with natural lighting to shooting indoors with controlled lighting almost every time. I just love the way that the sun... I just love natural lighting. Even indoors, I prefer to shoot with natural lighting. I hardly ever use lights unless I'm shooting a night scene, where you have to. But I almost always use natural light. Tips for shooting outside: get an ND filter, get a neutral density filter. Make sure that you aren't overexposed if you're shooting in the sunlight, and just make sure that you're framing things right. I like to shoot with the sun behind my characters to give them that nice backlighting. What else? If you need to, you can use reflectors to reflect light onto subjects. If you need to, you can use them to block out the sun to get more shadow. Another thing you got to worry about when shooting outside is noise, obviously. So make sure you're using a good microphone with a dead cat or some kind of wind filter. Make sure you're not shooting by busy streets if you can help it. Although sometimes that's fine if that's what you're going for and you want that background noise in there. Just something to be aware of. What is your favorite project that you've worked on? My favorite project would have to be the last short film that me and my team did. It's called Bruised Fruit. Um, Started to get some festival attraction right before this COVID stuff hit, so that's all kind of on hold for now. But I'm hoping once it's over, we can get back on track and start getting that film into festivals and eventually get it online for a release. But that's definitely my favorite project I've worked on so far. What's the most you've ever had to do on a film set, and how did you manage to do it? Um, well, on the short films that I write and direct, I also shoot them, I also edit them, I also color grade them, I also do all the music for them, I also do the sound design for them. On set, I'm doing every job, and my team is also doing every job. So it's really important to me, I think, to be kind of a jack of all trades, especially nowadays in the film industry. That's kind of what people are looking for. It used to be that you would get really good at one specific thing, and you would just kind of excel at that. Nowadays, you kind of have to be good at everything in order to just get your projects off the ground. No one's going to greenlight your project. No one's going to give you money for your project. You have to raise money. You have to organize everything. You have to produce your movie. You have to shoot your movie. You have to direct your actors. You have to um, edit your movie, color your movie. In my case, I do the music too because I've been making music for as long as I've been doing film. Um, and I'm kind of a freak, and I just like to have as much control over a project as I can. What is the first step to building your brand as an independent filmmaker? The first step is obviously just making stuff. Just make as much as you can, even if it's bad, even if it sucks. It's going to at first. I'm sure you guys are well aware of that. Took me a long time to make anything decent. But yeah, you just have to make stuff, and once you start making stuff, even if it's not great, but if it's like a little bit good, if there's something about it where you're like, okay, I see something here. There's a potential in here. Put that stuff online. A lot of the time, it seems pointless to throw a video online when you get like a few views, maybe 100 if you're lucky. I promise you, it's not pointless because whether you realize it or not, other people are seeing that you're, even if they don't watch the video, they're seeing that you're making stuff, and hopefully if they do watch it, it's good, it's well made, and they're going to want to hire you in the future. Or even if they don't want to hire you in the future, someone they know might be looking for somebody, et cetera, et cetera. So literally at the beginning, all you want to be worried about is just making good stuff, putting it online, and getting it in their minds that you're the type of person who does this work in a professional capacity. And the more you do that, the more work is going to start coming your way just by the simple awareness in the community that that you do this work. How do you decide if one of your films has the potential to be at festivals? Um, that's a hard question. Honestly, it just comes down to, is the film good or not? Do you think the film is good or not? You, in your heart, will know whether it's good or it's not. And there are a lot of factors in there. I mean, that's very subjective. Not everyone's going to agree. Not everyone's going to disagree. So you just have to decide for yourself if you believe in the project, if you think other people would enjoy it, and even if you don't, they probably will if it's a good piece of work. So I would say once you have made something that you're proud of and confident in, just start rolling the dice and submitting it to stuff. It took me a long time to make a short film that I thought was good enough to play festivals. In the light of your experience, where do you think the short film scene will evolve into? That's a good question. I have no idea. I've been saying this for a long time that I think it surprises me that short films aren't taken more seriously as a form of entertainment, especially in today's age of people binge watching TV. You would think that people would be really into watching short film content. I think I hope in the future that these streaming services like Netflix and Hulu and Amazon will start putting out more short films, or even like collections of short films that people can binge watch or whatever they do. I think that would be a great future for short films. I don't know if it will happen. For some reason, people seem. When I mean people, I don't mean the film industry. I mean the greater the public, the audience. For some reason, people don't seem to take short films as a serious form of entertainment, and I don't know why that is. I think especially nowadays with people's attention spans getting shorter and shorter, that now is the time for short films to thrive, and I hope it goes that way. How do you promote your films on social media? The same way you promote anything else on social media. You make posters, you make trailers, you put scenes up, you post behind the scenes videos and photos. You make little teasers talking to the actors about their experience, promoting the film. Everything that a big studio film does, you want to try to do that, obviously on a smaller level. So the way that I promote a film is literally I just make a poster, make a trailer, cut up different clips of the movie that I can put online to kind of tease people and get them excited about watching it. And then, the more advanced form of that is doing paid promotions, which I've had success with music. I haven't tried it for film stuff yet, just because that latest short film that I was talking about earlier is kind of the first of all my short films that I really want to get out there, and I really want to push as hard as I can. So when the time comes, once the festival run is over, I will be probably doing a paid promotion on Facebook and Instagram, and that'll just get the film into in front of as many eyes as possible. But yeah, you just got to do the same thing that you see these studios doing. But you want to do it on a smaller scale. You want to do it in a way that connects with people who your film is targeted towards. So yeah, just building the hype. And if you're lucky, you'll have a team of great people who will help you do this, and you'll have a team of people who are respected and have their own fan bases, so that it's not just you doing all the work. You're also getting people who are fans of the actors. A lot of the actors on that movie were comedians and improvers in the Detroit comedy scene. So they all have their whole community that they were able to promote to. I have my community, and so on and so forth. So yeah, you just gotta get it out there in any way you can. What is the shortcut to grabbing audience's attention in short films? I don't know that there is a shortcut. I think short films, it's harder to get an audience's attention than it is a feature film. People are used to watching feature films. They're used to the pace of feature films. They're used to it's just something that they've been doing their whole lives. A short film, it has to grab the audience's attention almost immediately. A feature film can start off kind of slow, and it can gain pace, and it can go up and down. It can do all these things. A short film needs to grab the attention of the audience immediately, and then it needs to keep it for the entire duration, which is a hard feat. I think in a feature film you have more time for this kind of lull and this up and down of the narrative, and you can kind of ease people into certain aspects of your story. With a short film, you got to kind of just punch them right from the beginning. And I don't know if there's a shortcut to it. I think it's just good writing. I think if there was a shortcut, I would say that your first scene needs to be as strong as it can possibly be. You can't have uh, you can't have this kind of meandering intro like a lot of feature films might have. You can't really do that with short films. You gotta get right into it and keep their attention. There's this great quote by Kurt Vonnegut, who is a famous novelist, one of my favorite writers. But he says someone asked him what his advice on writing was, and he said, uh, start the story as late as possible and get out as early as possible. And I've always kind of kept that in the back of my mind when I'm writing and when I'm making stuff. Okay, what was the hardest artistic choice you made in the making of this film at any stage in the production? I don't know that any of the artistic choices were necessarily hard. Um, I believe in having a vision and sticking to your vision, while at the same time opening yourself to collaboration and ideas from the outside. That's very important. Um, but yeah, I don't really have a problem making artistic choices. My films are kind of very stylized and very. I know how I want them to look and feel before we ever start writing the movie, and I think about it so much. Like it's literally on my mind constantly when I'm writing and in pre-production. It's all I think about really. So I have the tone and the way I want it to feel. Um, Really, it's really specific before I even start shooting. The artistic choices are easy because I've done so much prep that I know exactly um, what's right for the movie and what isn't right for the movie. So any challenges that come up on set, me and my team, we kind of know what the feel of the movie is, what we're going for, and it makes these choices a lot easier. Trying to think of what the hardest choice was. I mean, there's so many hard choices. There's so many things. So many things that I thought were going to go one way and then obviously went a complete different way. But that's just like you gotta be able to adapt and roll with that kind of stuff if you want to make films, because nothing is ever the way that you imagine it to be.